Woo! Do I have a good one for you today? Listen, there is a mistake that a majority of you watching and a majority of people invested in the TSP, a majority of federal employees are making. Okay, this mistake can not only affect you this year, but it can also affect you next year and every year hereafter, even into retirement. Okay, this is a mistake I've seen so many times and it's so easy to fix, but I want to tell you what it is. Let's get into it. Hey guys, this is Cooper from FedRetirementPlanning.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part. Before I get started, if you haven't subscribed and you're a federal employee and you're watching this, you need to do so. It is going to be beneficial for your retirement, beneficial for your future, beneficial for your legacy and your kids and everybody hereafter relating to your finances. Trust me. Now to get on with what you want to listen to. Okay, there's a mistake, like I said, that many of you are making, and here's the mistake. You're not investing enough in the TSP.
Hold up.
You're not investing enough in the TSP.
In fact, the mistake that majority of federal employees are making is they are choosing the default option for their TSP investment. Okay, so let me play the scenario for you, and this will probably make sense to a lot of you. You get your job, many of you get your job at the federal government out of college. So you get out of college, you're really excited. You've got this plan to pay down your student loans because the government has a great plan after 10 years or so of you faithfully contributing. They can wipe away your student loans. So you're feeling good about that. You got this new job and you're excited. All of a sudden you're an adult. You have benefits and all these different things. You're making money. And they send you this paperwork and you've got to fill it out. And one of the parts of the paperwork is how much you want to contribute to your TSP. Well, you're thinking, man, I'm an adult, I can make my decisions now. I'm making all this money. I'm going to have more money to go out to eat. I'm going to have more money to go see movies and all these different things. So, I'm just going to choose whatever the default option because the default option is likely the right one, right? Like, why would the default option on anything not be the right one? Okay, so you just choose the default option. You get rid of the TSP. You don't even think about it. You're just, okay, I'm contributing the default option and I'm going to go on with my life. All of a sudden, about 5-10 years in, you start hear rumblings from people that they're starting to think more about retirement. Or when you first start, you start to see these people that are close to retirement. All of a sudden, they're freaking out about retirement. They're like, man, I want to retire, but I don't have enough money in my retirement. I want to retire, but I didn't contribute a lot to my TSP. So all of a sudden, that's got you thinking, well, should I think about this more? So you go back and realize, okay, the default option is 3%. 3% of my income, 3%, that's pretty good, right? And then you realize, I have the opportunity to receive a 5% match. And if I have a 5% match, that means if I put in 5%, I receive a 100% rate of return on that money. All of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I've been investing wrong this entire time. Okay, and that's the situation that many of you maybe today are finding yourself in. Listen, if you're contributing less than 5%, you're making a huge mistake. And I want to provide an actual real life example of this, okay? So there's 3 different people, okay? A Jew, a Polak, and a Russian walk into a bar. No, I'm just kidding, okay? Okay, there's 3 people, 3 scenarios I want to give you, okay? And here's the breakdown of the scenario. This is the same person for all 3, okay? Here's the scenario I want to break down for you. These people all started on the same date. They all have the same position, they all make the same amount of money, and they all receive the same annual increase. The only difference between these 3 situations, these 3 people, is how much of their salary they contribute to the TSP, okay? They all invested the same way, they're all gonna retire on the same day. Everything's the same, the only difference is how much they contribute from their salary, okay? And this person A, person B, and person C, they're all making $55,000 a year starting out. Okay, they're also all receiving a 1% annual increase, and they're also all receiving an average annual rate of return of 10%. Okay, so 10%, that can be a little high in some scenarios. It can be actually a little low in some scenarios. Right now, the 10-year compound for the C fund and the S fund is above 13%. So, compared to that, it's a little conservative. But I think, if you waited 30 years, based upon historicals, about 10% is going to be okay. Okay, so that's the scenario. Person A, person B, and person C, they're making $55,000 a year starting out. Person A decided, okay, I'm gonna do the default option. Okay, that's what it says on the paper, it's default, so I'm just gonna go along with the default option. So I'm gonna contribute 3% of my salary for the rest of my life not even think about it. I'm going to set my contribution, set my investments. I'm good. Person B decided, okay, I'm receiving this match. It's a good opportunity. I want to make sure I take full advantage of the match. Cooper said that I need to take advantage of the match, so I'm going to take advantage of the match. So they contribute 5%. Okay, so they're putting in 5%. They're also receiving 5%. The person that's contributing 3% is also receiving 3% match, but nothing more than that. Okay, so then you got the person C, who's decided, okay, I've watched a lot of Cooper's videos. I've read a lot of his articles. He's got a lot of good things to say, so I'm just going to listen to him, and I'm going to contribute more, as much as I can. So this person decided they were going to contribute 10% of their income. This person contributed 10% of their income. Okay, so the first year it's $55,000. It's a 1% increase every year, so that goes up over time. So their contribution goes up over time, even though it's the same percentage. They never notice it. They started from the beginning, so they don't even think about the money being there. They just know that it's going into this fund, this mystery fund, this fund that I'm going to get someday, and all of a sudden, at the end of their career, they're able to see it. So after 30 years, this is the difference. The first person, the person who contributed 3%, their retirement ended up being over $720,000 in their retirement. Just at 3%, okay? And that's earning an average of 10% annual rate of return. That's getting paid bi-weekly, and that's at the same salaries as these other people. $720,000, a little bit higher than that, okay? But rounding so I don't have to memorize it. $720,000. That's quite a bit in your retirement. However, as I'm going to show you, is that $720,000, that's after 30 years of investing, and that's after a 10% rate of return. That's a pretty good rate of return. If you can average that for 30 years, good for you. But I want to show you what the difference is between 3%, 5%, and 10%. And in reality, you probably wouldn't even notice the difference between the two if you invested it that way. So here's the person at 5%. This is person B. Remember, everything's the exact same. Person B invested 5% of their income. So what they have after 30 years in their nest egg is they are a millionaire. That's right. They have over $1 million in their TSP. $1 million and $30,000 and a little bit of change. That is incredible. Imagine you have the opportunity to be a TSP millionaire simply by investing 5% if you earn over $55,000 a year and earn around a 10% rate of return. But you have the opportunity to have $1 million in your TSP. Okay? Think about all that you could do with that in retirement. Think about the life you could live. Think about the way you could give. Think about the legacy you could lead. Okay? But I want to show you the difference between that, which is awesome, but I want to show you the difference between that and the person who invested 10%. Now remember, you don't receive a contribution above 5%, a matching contribution. Okay, so you put in 5%, you get 5%. If you put in 6%, you still get 5%. If you put in 50%, you still get 5% from the government. Okay, but this person decided, I really want to be secure in retirement. I want to, basically even out some of the fluctuations in the market in case it's less than 10%. So I'm going to contribute 10%. I'm going to set it from the beginning and forget about it, not worry about it. This is what that person had. Person C had $1.545 million. They had over $1.5 million in their TSP at retirement. That's incredible. So the difference between person A, who invested 3%, who had around $700,000, and person C, who invested 7% more than that, is $1.5 million, almost more than double. That's what their retirement looked like. And that's the difference between investing with a purpose, investing meaningfully, and understanding, hey, I'm just going to invest this. I'm going to trust that it's going to do well. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to check my investments every so often to make sure they're doing well. I'm going to budget properly. And I'm going to have this incredible nest egg at the end of my life because I'm going to live like no one else today so I can live like no one else tomorrow. That's the difference. And that's the mistake that many of you are making. If you're watching this and you're contributing 3%, I highly suggest you bump it up to 5%. Okay? I even invest you bump it up to 5% before you pay down any of your debt. Because you got to think about this. It's interest arbitration. If you're investing into the TSP and you invest 5%, you get an automatic rate of return of 100%. If the market improves, that's just icing on the cake. However, if you pay down debt, even if it's a credit card, even if it's a high interest rate credit card of around 20%, that's still an 80% guaranteed difference. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So I suggest for most people, you invest to the match 5% first, and then after that, pay your debt. I know that's a little bit of a different thinking, but when it comes to actual dollar amounts, you're going to end up doing better by investing in the TSP than you're going to be paying down your debt, at least when it comes to the match. So this has been Cooper from federalretirementplanning.com. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of the concept. Are you investing 3%? Do you want to invest more? Let me know what would make you make that change. Let me know if this video has been helpful. Make sure you subscribe, comment. We'll see you next time. Peace.